Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we're going to be going over my account, how as a free-to-play I did very well, ended up at 21 million power without too many gold chests, in my alliance, without chaining at all. How did I do this? How can you do this too as a free-to-play? Let's go over it. 56 million KP, nothing to laugh at, certainly not bad. You can see I got 700,000 tier 5 kills, which is very good. I'm very happy about that. Almost 4 million tier 4. You can see that all my KP really came from this KvK. But I'm very, very pleased with my performance. I do unfortunately have to point out that the time zones for both the major wars, Zone 6 openings and Kingsland opening, was 2:54 a.m. my time, both on a workday, and the other one was in the middle of the day on my busiest workday. So it just wasn't happening. I make what I can do. It goes to show what you can do, with no pilots, no spending, nothing, right? You have Mina up there. If you're curious about evidence purposes, I still have my gem supply ticket. I haven't spent a dime on this account. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk both about what did I do from a strategy perspective that you can do, and we're going to talk about what can you do pairing wise for a cheap free-to-play March to get this amount of KP. So first off, let me also show off my deads. You can see I did 275,000 overall, vast majority tier 4. There's some mixed in there, and then 962 million resources spent. Honestly, not as bad as I thought it would be, but still very expensive for a free-to-play. That's why farms are so important. And you can see, right, I almost only did infantry until the end. And this is the amount that I did. Vastly focused in food and wood, and then a little bit of gold and stone. So let's go over the marches now, right? What did I do and what do I recommend? Sun Aethel is a god tier free-to-play march. It is so good. You get double AoE. It's completely free to do. The second Aethel hits that 5511 spot. Now I'm almost 55, expert actually. But as soon as you hit that 5511, it just becomes so powerful as a free-to-play pairing. Now, it's not going to beat a tier 5 march. It's not going to beat, even a decent march of an expert CM or something, right? It's just not happening. But you're doing AoE, and you've got double AoE. You know all this stuff, so I'm not going to go too in depth. I have other videos on this. You got double AoE, hitting potentially 5 targets twice with AoE, and it's just powerful. It's a KP machine, right? And if you were curious, let's just take a quick look. You can ignore the arc, but you can see, right, some of my reports that I got in the field with now this is mixed. This isn't even the prime march you can do, and this is now Swarm in a City, so you can ignore that. But generally speaking, we're against tier 5, so even when the marches look like they're trading even, the KP still goes towards me, right? And I always hit tier 5 because I'm doing AoE and I'm fighting for, effect. So Bagra, big tier 5, 155 mil whale. Another tier 5 here, right? I could go through this list. There's plenty of them here. Another Bagra march. Skara, like all these people, right? And then, more trades. There's plenty of better ones too. Lots of flags involved, right? I also tested around with Martel's son. Did very well. And you can see here, I only had 5311 Martel at the time. So you can make it work even without expert, right? 5311. But it is not as good, right? I think Sun Aethel, generally speaking, as a KP machine, it's just the best march. That's what I would do. Sun Aethel costs nothing. It just double AoE slams it. You can see all my reports. Generally speaking, very good stuff. And, you do have to know your positioning. You have to be smart. Otherwise, you will take some negative trades. But I think no one is upset about going 1 to 3 in your trades. And I had maybe 4, honestly, negative reports all of KvK. So super happy about that. Now, what is the main strategy that I use to get this strong without chaining, right? And you can see here, we'll show it off. My bag is still very impressive. So what did I do to keep this stuff? Well, you may see a hint in that my tech power is vastly stronger than most other players of my similar power. So what did I do? I didn't use a single speed up from zone 1 to zone 3. And why did I do this? I waited, right? Because at the time you have a 5% rune, you have no kingdom buff, no kingdom title. If you wait, you have a 15% rune, not a 5%. You have a 10% title, you have a 10% king buff. All these things stack, and it gives you more time to push your academy level, because don't you forget that academy level alone pushes it. And now, once I got into I think zone 4, honestly, so KvK began, I had the max buffs possible, and I pushed with over a year of speed ups. I think on stream, potentially, I forget. But I pushed with over a year of speed ups as a complete free-to-play, not getting any crazy amounts of, gold chests, We're not cracking kingdom. We just get some, right? There's some days we may get more than others. Maybe we get 8 on a good day, 1 on a bad day, that type of thing, right? So nothing to laugh at, but it's certainly nothing like, you know, people in 66 kingdom of KvK1, rest in peace that kingdom. But you can see here, I'm almost maxed on these, very impressive. And I did that for a deliberate strategy because I'm going with Siege. More on that later. I went 8-9 with my main 2 infantry stuff, very impressive. 5-9 for this. Far better than most other people of my power, and just honestly, people who are like 25 mil probably are weaker. Where I did slack is in my troop quantity, so that's something to consider. And you know, maybe I'd make some adjustments in a future KvK1 if I ever do one again. But we still won KvK, and like I said, my performance was very good. Had the fight times not been at 2:40 a.m. for me on work days, I definitely would have gotten almost at least 100 mil KP, but I really can't, you know, complain too much about this. Very good KP stats for a free-to-play, especially, you know, 700,000 tier 5. It shows the kind of fighter I am, so I'm very proud of that. Now, I will do a quick shout-out that almost all those reports you saw that were really good in the beginning were from just a windswept set. So this is what I'm using right now. This only because I'm going with Siege, and I want this for Siege. But this is what I ran. I didn't even have this. Can I unequip it? Yes, I can. This is what I ran for almost the entire KvK. It's an uncrit, you know, epic pants. Everyone can get that by KvK1, free to play, whatever, it doesn't matter. These you get completely for free. They're windswept. You can talent it. You just buy the stuff for free in the shop here, the VIP shop. Right here, you just get 15 a week for just some food. And that's all the gear you need to trade as positive as I showed you. It's basically the ultimate free-to-play gear set with the ultimate free-to-play pairing. Just run it infantry. Even when you're out of troops because you took too many deads, all you do is you start using slightly mixed. And it's not even the worst thing ever because, again, Aethel gives you some attack when you're in your pairing. Well, you know, mixed, right? So it's still not the worst thing ever, but if you can't run it all the way inf, don't stress yourself too much. That's how I did it. That's how I became so powerful without any gifted flux, any spending, you know, any chaining, because God knows I can't stand it, even though it's very much so worth it. That's how you do it. Best pairing, I strongly recommend Sun Aethel. Run just Windswept. Run it with the KvK pants and the shield. Some people do the Scarlet Hound boots because they are very powerful. Totally okay. Then you could free up a slot for maybe something else. I don't know what you want to do. Maybe you go Dark Lord's chest, but that's all more expensive. For me, I went with this. It allows me to then move in easier onto my Siege set that I want to craft because I have to do a whole lot of work for KvK2, which I hope you stay tuned. We did win this KvK. We're going to see what happens with migration, and then we'll go from there. But you're going to see a lot more videos on my main because we're about to enter KvK, you know, which I'm so hyped about, especially after playing this free-to-play with 1 march. I cannot wait to be 4 marching again with 2 marches, you know, joining rallies, garrisons, etc. It's going to be a blast, so stay tuned for all that. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe.